Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and what a day for XRP. It hit a 24-hour high of $2.64, and as of the time I'm recording this video, XRP is the only coin out of the top 100 coins that is in the green at all, because the market did have a pullback, and XRP pulled back with the market, but after it pumped to $2.64. And I'm going to share with you perspective from, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 different XRP chart analysts in this video. And a lot of them do believe that this breakout that we saw today is materially the breakout that we've been waiting for. So we'll see if they're right. But either way, because not every analyst agrees with that, even if this isn't the one, we have to go through a little bit more sideways price action. The conviction that I'm seeing from the chart analysts that I follow has never been higher, that we are absolutely going to see a parabolic blow off top this market cycle in the relatively near future, and absolutely XRP is going to play a major role in that. Going parabolic for the first time in over 7 years, finally entering price discovery and melting faces, of course. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Look at these top 10 coins. Everything's in the red except for XRP, which is up 1.73%. But like I said, it's literally the top 100 coins. I just went through the first 2 pages on Live Coin Watch, and then I stopped checking, but everything is in red. No exceptions currently. Oh, by the way, time I'm recording this in case you're curious, it is 11:24 p.m. Central Time, Monday, May 12th, 2025. What a day for XRP. My freaking God, absolute insanity. Now, of course, there was some news today. Here's the headline from the Wall Street Journal. U.S.-China agree to large tariff cuts, stocks surge. Okay, and so yesterday, around the same time, I was recording a video talking about this topic and noting that, the crypto asset class didn't really go much higher. I mean, Bitcoin actually did surge a little bit. It got up to a 24-hour high of $105,684, but it had already done a fair bit of, if you want to call it surging, from recent lows. So maybe, it was just time for a correction anyway. It's not like the crypto asset class, even though it does tend to move in tandem with stocks. It's not you're going to see 100% correlation. Not every second of every day will it be doing the exact same thing. So it was higher, $105,684. At the time I'm recording this, it's down to $102,177. And so a day ago, I was talking about how we did get word that there was going to be some sort of a trade deal between the United States and China. And it was just interesting that crypto didn't really move a whole lot. And so I was kind of wondering, are stocks going to move? Because I just said out loud, like, that makes logical sense. I don't know for sure if it's going to. Is it going to depend on the specifics of what this trade deal is? Are we waiting to see that? And it turns out, without getting into too much detail here, there's between the U.S. and China an agreement that's a dramatic reduction in tariffs for 90 days. And so that's basically a bandage on what's going on right now, but it's expected that within that 90 days that a permanent arrangement will be agreed upon. So it buys them some time, and in the meantime, the market's taking this as a great sign. In fact, the S&P 500 today was up 3.26%. The NASDAQ 100 was up 4.02%. Dow Jones up 2.81%, and the Russell 2000, those small cap stocks, up 3.42%. on the day. And I know in crypto, these percentages are meaningless. That can happen, inside of like a few seconds. I understand that. In the stock market, those figures are actually pretty damn big. That's a big ass day in the stock market, which doesn't have anywhere near the same level of volatility that we're accustomed to in the world of crypto. Very cool to see. So markets obviously very, very happy with what's gone down here. Now we need to see a final agreement take place, but I'm optimistic that's going to be the case, as I've been saying since all this silliness started, on April 2nd. There's a post here from Santiment. I'm not going to read the whole thing for the sake of time, but they noticed how, what I was talking about, how stock market was up, including the S&P 500, but crypto not so much, although XRP definitely up. It definitely went up today. And so they wrote, don't be surprised if cryptocurrency plays a bit of catch-up with rising volumes and institutional investors planning their next move. So Santiment, on-chain analytics firm, they still think that it's going to be coming for crypto. I firmly believe I never pretend to know, because I don't know in any given moment when the market's going to do whatever the hell it's going to do. I just have conviction that staying the course is the way to win. The market trends up, so I just make sure I have exposure no matter what happens. And that means that I don't panic sell and I don't FOMO into positions. I just buy whatever I want to buy, and then I hold for years on end. That's it. That's the strategy in a nutshell. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Mustache. This is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So you got all the altcoins on here going back over a decade. And he wrote, look at how everything repeats itself. Total 2, which is the name of this chart, looks ready, in my opinion. I expect that we'll see the strongest parabolic rally of the entire cycle in the coming weeks/months. Okay, that idea is what I see pretty much every analyst that I follow agreeing upon, because it just makes sense. You know, nobody can promise you exactly what the timeline is going to look like, but anywhere in that realm, based on historic precedent, would make sense. Based on global liquidity and how long it takes crypto when it lags behind it, that it would make sense based on that as well. It's coming, folks. It's coming. And so here you had this post from the blockchain backer. He wrote, stocks up, gold down, breadth up, Bitcoin dominance down. And so this is important because stocks, although, like I said a few minutes ago, it's not the case that crypto and the stock market are, 100% of the time going to be perfectly correlated, but they do tend to do the same thing, especially when there's big news events, like whether it's the pandemic or the tariff stuff. You can see that they very clearly move in tandem, and that shouldn't be surprising. It's because they're risk on assets. So the fact that stocks went up today and there was less excitement in the world of crypto, that can happen. But you should expect that crypto is going to keep moving in tandem with stocks, and stocks have all the reason in the world to keep moving to the upside. And then you have gold, which is to the downside, that you want to see if you're interested in risk on assets, because people invest in gold during tumultuous times, during times of uncertainty. So if people are selling gold, that means that's why gold's going down. What are they doing it for? Well, a lot of them are willing to take on more risk, investing in riskier assets like stocks, including smaller caps, and the entire cryptocurrency asset class. That's why that matters. And then in terms of breadth, that's what we're waiting for, folks. And you're actually seeing it in the stock market too, because like I told you, the Russell 2000 small cap stocks, the riskier stocks, they went up substantially today. So, and breadth, and what he's specifically referencing here, I'm sure, is and I talked about this the last couple of days, is he highlighted his breadth indicator, the altcoin breadth indicator. That has opened up. And every time his indicator has shown that to flip for the last 5+ years, that has signaled that what is next is outperformance for altcoins. Like that is what that signals. It just flipped. And then you have Bitcoin dominance going down. Well, that's good too. Historically, when Bitcoin dominance goes down, even if Bitcoin price keeps going up, it means people are taking profit from Bitcoin, and it rolls into altcoins, including XRP. And that's why he wrote here, what you want to see. Absolutely. And that's why. Here's a post from XRP chart analyst Bark, shared this with his 222,000 followers. And the blue line here, it's the Bitcoin price. And the green line is global M2 liquidity. And so he's highlighting something I've been talking about a lot, because it's a metric that really matters. It really, truly matters a lot, because most of the time, Bitcoin follows this. And of course, the asset class moves in tandem, so you can use Bitcoin as a proxy effectively, conceptually, for the entire crypto asset class. It's going to move. I mean, if you zoom out on a chart enough, that's what it'll look like. And so here he wrote, Bitcoin is following M2 money supply like clockwork. You know what happens next. Send it. And look at this perfect correlation. And I've showed charts of this going back over a decade. And again, the vast majority of the time, there is very noticeable correlation. And it's very tight right now. Number go up, my friends, because look, increased liquidity, businesses and people that have that increased liquidity, they got to put it somewhere. And so in an environment, especially where there's no more macro headwinds, yeah, it's going to go into risk on assets, son. Stocks and crypto. That's why this is exciting. Here we have another post from Bark. And this is from this morning when XRP was at $2.62. He says, XRP is about to teleport to $10. You've been warned. You better heed that warning, folks. And I'm telling you, that is not remotely a fringe opinion. If anything, some people just think that's too conservative. But the idea of XRP getting anywhere even near $10, that's pretty well expected from pretty much all analysts I follow. Like there are a couple analysts I follow that'll say, oh, maybe it'll get more to like $8. I think I got one of them in here somewhere. But that's fine. It's okay to be more conservative. You're a more conservative predictor of crypto prices. But nobody thinks that $10 XRP is wacky. Nobody does, except for Toxic Bitcoin Maximalist. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Zoom, and he actually posted this yesterday, which is why I thought I'd highlight this, because look what he said. XRP rejected off the $2.50 zone again. The more XRP knocks on the door of $2.50, the weaker the $2.50 wall gets. And isn't that interesting? So it fell short the other day, but then it did surge through. And there were some analysts that were saying, hey, XRP looks primed. And I highlighted some of those posts in recent days in videos where I'm talking about market performance. And yeah, today it did. And it's fallen back down a bit because the whole market came down. But so what? As long as it hangs out roughly around here, some analysts think that that'll be good enough for it to continue to the upside. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK just this morning. This is at 3 a.m. So this was before XRP started surging, actually. It was probably around, it'd come up a little bit. Maybe it was around like $2.40, but well before, later in the morning, surging up to like $2.64. But anyway, here's what he said before that he had that information. XRP feels like it is ready to continue to the upside. Folks, that aged well. That's for damn sure. He says, we've been holding previous range highs as support for 25 weeks now-ish. Stochastic RSI is turning up out of the oversold area, indicating momentum is coming back to bulls. And so you can see what he's talking about. This is the stochastic RSI down here. When it gets to the lower end, that indicates oversold territory. When it gets to the upper end, that indicates overbought territory. Now, we want XRP ultimately to hit overbought territory because it can stay in overbought for quite some time, actually. So when we finally do hit overbought, that doesn't mean it's the end of the party. It's going to go up, but it does mean you're getting closer. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But because that is one of the signals like to watch. Like, hey, guys, just to be careful, this might be the top of the market. And we'll talk about when we get there because we don't want to, get caught off guard. But we're not there. It just flipped bullish. Coming out of oversold. And so then he said, we still need a good week here to confirm a bullish cross on the standard RSI. However, with alts performing well, I think there is enough momentum to take us over the line. We get the weekly bullish cross and a bit of momentum, then XRP will rip similar to the November/December candles, but realistically, probably more aggressive. You've been warned. There you go. That's another analyst saying that we've been warned. You are officially warned. You have no excuses to not be aware of this information. But he thinks that this could be more intense than November and December. I'll not be surprised. I remember months ago, Credible Crypto talking about this. I covered it on my channel. He believes that actually the next major rip in terms of dollar increases, it's going to be much more substantial. There's tons of analysts that agree with that concept. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Crypto Wizard, XRP USD chart. He says, the only way is up, grinding higher. XRP held its ground, but not only that has reversed. Did I read that weird? XRP held its ground, but not only that has reversed. Stop fighting it. Yeah, it's a weird sentence. A new all-time high is inevitable. But we got the cut of his jib. He says, patience pays. Yes. Yes, indeed it does. That is your job, basically. If you're investing, your job is to be more patient than every other human on the planet. That's my job. That's your job. That's the job. People suck at that job. Like, people really suck donkey balls at that job. But that is the job. It's to have the conviction and then the emotional fortitude to actually stand firm on what you actually believe. Few people can do it. So if you are doing it, congratulations. Like, you're a rare breed, and I salute you very genuinely. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Peppa. He's I like this. XRP, 0 F's given. Send it with haste. Salute emoji. Win $10. Yeah, so he's one of the many analysts that's calling for at least double-digit price, at least $10, but potentially higher, a double-digit price action for XRP this cycle. I'll not be surprised. Again, this is the majority opinion, but for good reason. Like, these are the analysts who called the bottom of the bear market for the entire crypto space. These are the analysts who accurately called that XRP is going to break out this cycle, and they've been steadfast in their message. I don't think any, actually, off the top of my head, I don't think that any of the analysts I follow were predicting that XRP, when it finally hit a new all-time high, that it would then enter price discovery and do everything all in one go, because it's never done that. I don't think any of the analysts that I follow were expecting that. It's more like, hey, go up, go parabolic, true impulsive moves, but then go back, consolidate, move sideways, and then go for another run. That's all I've seen from the analysts that I follow. Here's a post from chart analyst Steph is Crypto from this morning, and XRP is already at $2.59 at this point. He said, XRP breakout confirmed. Price target $11. So more conviction from another analyst. Here's another example. This is from this morning, 11:41 a.m. Central Time. From chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto. XRP expansion phase has begun after the retest. So he thinks that what's happening right now is the expansion. So we'll see. Some analysts, like I told you at the outset of the video, some do think that we actually are going to have to move sideways a little bit more, even though it's kind of broken out. So it doesn't mean it happens like literally today or tomorrow. But we are close, my friends. Here's a post from chart analyst Malius. He also agrees with this concept. XRP USD chart on the screen here. He said, bad boy now with a proper breakout. Want to see increased volume to follow. XRP. So again, tons of analysts believe that this is the real deal. It's just, it's not all of them. Now, if all of them were saying that, I mean, that's when when it jumps out at me. When every analyst is saying the same or very similar thing, that jumps out at me. That's not quite what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a mixed bag of people saying, hey, this looks like the breakout, and some being like, we might have to move sideways a little bit more, but then we're going to burst. But no one's disputing whether or not XRP is going to go parabolic and enter price discovery, not out of the group of analysts that I follow. Here's a post from chart analyst Cassie Trades. Critical XRP update, key resistance approaching. And this is this morning as XRP was already at, looks like $2.64 when this is posted. Yeah, that's right. XRP is on fire. Price is now pushing above $2.64 and rapidly reaching the major $2.69 resistance. The .236 fib retracement from the all-time high and a key level to watch for a correction. What stands out is there has been continued price increase despite low momentum and a completed 5-wave count. This slow, controlled push higher often signals strong underlying demand, strong trend, heavy accumulation. If XRP breaks and holds above $2.69, it opens the door for an explosive move towards $3 plus. But if this level holds as resistance again, we could see a short-term dip back toward $2.30 for a retest. Okay, at the time I'm recording this, again, XRP has fallen back below that level, so it did meet some resistance there. Also, the entire crypto asset class started falling at that point, so we'll see. But it doesn't change anything. Whether it has to go back down for another test and then finally burst to the upside, okay. Here's a post from an analyst I'm not familiar with, but I just want to share a few examples because I can't find today literally any chart analysts with negative charting for XRP. Literally zero. I cannot find them today. And that shouldn't be surprising because on a day where XRP is rallying. But I did find a few that I'm not familiar with expectations of grand movements to the upside. So here's a chart analyst, again, not familiar, but his name's Mags, been in crypto since 2016, 104,000 followers. He says, XRP is going to $7. Shared XRP below 50 cents before it went 6x. And so there indeed was a post from December 27th, 2023. And he says, the current consolidation looks similar to what we saw back in 2017 and 2018 before the blow-off top, expecting something similar. Easy 2 to 3x from here. Okay, so you might dispute whether it's going to peak $7 to $8. Some analysts, including him, seem to think that's probably going to be the peak. And if that's too conservative, fine. But structurally, I mean, this is a key takeaway. Structurally, he thinks that this looks a lot like the 2017 bull run, when XRP absolutely dominated and was literally the best performing coin in the entire asset class for that cycle. That's what we're dealing with here. And this is what I keep seeing from good faith analysts. And now I'm assuming that he is here. I don't know this guy's history or anything about him, but this is what I certainly see from all the analysts that I regularly follow. So, take it for what it's worth, but I think that what's most probable is, you're actually going to get what you came here for. If you're expecting a blow off top and price discovery for XRP, I'm betting yes. I'm in the trenches with you guys, and nobody knows for sure. I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but that's my bet. I say yes. That is most probable by a lot. Here's another analyst I'm not familiar with named Clifton FX, XRP update. In case of upside breakout, we can see 150 to 200% massive bullish rally in the next coming days. And so he's talking about to kick this party off, getting back up close to the $5 price target here. And he's not saying that that would necessarily be the end, just in the short term. And I've seen a fair number of analysts say that that would be reasonable in the short term. They could be right. We'll see. Here's another one, chart analyst CW. And this is an XRP USD chart here. It says, just starting, short-term target price is $4.50. So there's another analyst here, and again, not familiar with the three analysts that I just shared with you, but I thought I'd share some new voices just for the fun of it in this video, because I want to see what other people are talking about. And I couldn't, and I was trying to find negative, but I didn't think I'd succeed, and I didn't. I was trying to find some negative positions here on XRP. I can't find it. I'm not saying they don't exist. I couldn't find it. If you can find it, let me know. I am not afraid to share negative sounding opinions, that anything that's at odds with all the positive sounding stuff, just for the sake of balancing out honest discourse. But yeah, in the short term, $4.50 doesn't sound crazy. It's going to happen sooner or later, I think. Here's a post from chart analyst Dom. Both microstructure observations played perfect so far. XRP up 10%, now seeing some outperformance compared to the market. Yeah, that's the truth. And this is at 10:35 a.m. this morning. He posted it. He says, I spotted clear signatures of smart money filling longs, signs most don't look at. That's certainly true. And I actually shared this slide, or a slightly different version of it. Is either this one or maybe a slightly different version, indicating who's been doing the buying. And I made a video talking about this. It's the rich people buying XRP as the little shrimpies out there, the smallest of XRP holders who had been selling recently. That is telling, because the rich people don't stay rich by making consistently stupid decisions. They don't get wrong-footed, right? They tend to make smarter decisions and control their emotions in volatile crypto markets. That's all I'm saying. Here's another post from chart analyst Dom. He was basically just warning, I don't need to read the whole thing. He's basically just noting that as long as we hold $2.46, we're sitting pretty for now. Otherwise, you might see a bit of a move to the downside, but he's saying that that's a key level to watch for. And we're above it right now, actually. So now actually we just went up a little bit. We're at $2.47 now as I record this. It's one hell of an exciting time to be an XRP holder. Like, I have never been this amped up as an XRP holder in my entire freaking life. There's never been a more exciting time to be an XRP holder, and there's never been a point in history, at least where I've had stronger conviction. This is the strongest conviction I've ever had, and I feel totally vindicated, both on the legal side, and I'm sure you guys feel the same, right? If you've been here a few years, at least, especially, I'm sure you feel the same. Totally vindicated. We were right on the law. XRP got legal clarity. We were right that XRP would participate in this market cycle and hit a new all-time high. We already got that. That already happened this cycle. The last piece we're waiting for is just to see XRP enter true price discovery, but we're going to be vindicated on that too. I firmly believe that. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. We don't have to wait much longer. I really don't think we do. Oh, you guys tell me what you think, but I'm feeling really great about this. I really am. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.